Thank you. So welcome everyone to this session, this webinar, this session, this online workshop on mindfulness. This is a pretty harrowing time for a lot of us. I mean, COVID-19 has not made life easy. Julia has those of us who've been around for a while, we know Julia Paris of old, our former National Librarian of the Year in 2011. She holds a master's degree in personal and professional leadership, honors degree in knowledge management from UJ, BA degree from UWC, and as well as a life and business coaching certificate from UJ. She actually is retired, a retired librarian, and that just goes to show librarians actually never retire. Serves as a brand ambassador. She has sorry, is a counselor and does transformational coaching, mentoring, and facilitation, and has been involved with that for a long time. I'm going to hand over to her in a moment and let her take it from there. It is World Kindness Day today, so I'm very happy to see that all of us are actually here and being kind to ourselves on World Kindness Day. And Julia is showing us kindness by actually doing this webinar for us. So I'm, with no further ado, handing over to Julia.
Thank you so much, Ingrid. Colleagues, good morning to all of you. And a warm Josie welcome to Roodepoort. I'm going to imagine you all around me, sitting around me, standing around me, or that we are just hanging out together for maybe the next hour and a half, maybe. And if there's anybody who has to leave, please don't worry about it. There will be a recording. You can excuse yourself, put something in the chat for Ingrid or Anna Marie to pick up. And it is fine. There is really no need to worry about, whether I'm going to miss out on anything, or I will also put a handout out for you so that you can, in your own space, in your own time, you can actually read the handout and also do the practices. I want to take you on a mindfulness journey. I don't want to just theorize about mindfulness this morning with you, because we are in such a harrowing time, such an unprecedented, uncertain, complex time in our lives. Nobody foresaw that there would be a COVID-19 coming in 2020. I think we were all so excited to see 2020, and then came COVID, and then everything was just different. The world changed globally. So this is an unprecedented time. And I've been talking about the existential realities of COVID the whole year. The whole year, people have been asking me to talk about this, to comfort people, to say something that will make people feel better. And it doesn't matter what you say, what you think, you cannot feel better, because this is a collective suffering that we're going through. It's not one person suffering, it's a whole globe, it's globally. So when you open your TV and you look at the news, you watch YouTube, everywhere people is talking about COVID and the impact that this virus is having. So just for a moment, I want to invite you to put everything aside. Put your pen down. Take your shoes off if you can. Sit comfortably back in your chair. And just for a moment, just focus on your breath. Just sit back. Just for a moment, focus on your breath. Take your focus out of your head. Our heads are very busy because we've been thinking, doing, running, juggling balls in the air, doing many things. And so I want you to take your focus away from all of that busyness and to bring yourself into the room. Bring yourself into your chair. Bring your focus and your attention to this very moment, this poignant moment where a collective of librarians are coming together in love, in nurturing, in joyfulness, in kindness. And in your mind's eye, see us forming a circle. We are forming this huge circle of people, men and women, who are serving all the time, giving service unselfishly, unconditionally, showing up every day to serve somebody. So we are in this circle, and imagine that we are taking hands, we are holding hands, we are reaching out to one another, we're stretching our hands out, and we're grasping the other person's hand. And we're forming this huge circle. And if you are feeling vulnerable this morning, you might want to take a seat in the center of the circle. If you're feeling aggrieved, sad, maybe you've lost somebody, maybe you're just overwhelmed with all the busyness, maybe you're just not feeling great this morning, maybe you have a headache, maybe you're recovering from an illness, not necessarily COVID, maybe you're chronically ill, or maybe you've had COVID and you're recovering. You might want to take a seat in the center of the circle, so that those of us on the outer ring of the circle can enfold you, can nurture you, can hold you. Because with all this masking going on, we cannot even hug anymore. We cannot talk so freely anymore. We have to elbow each other. It is just crazy. So if you're feeling a bit vulnerable, just take a seat in the center and feel the love that this collective of beautiful beings, people are creating this morning. We are in a field of love. And the Holy Scripture says, Jesus said, where 2 and 3 are gathered in my name, there am I. There am I. So know that a higher power is overseeing this gathering, this circle. A higher power is showering goodness and joy and kindness on this group of people gathering this morning. And so feel welcome, feel held, feel nurtured. You are so welcome here. We see you. Ingrid has seen you. Anna-Marie sees you. Your future fellow colleagues are seeing you. You have showed up today for each other. You are here because you want to be here. The intention for being here is such a beautiful one, such an amazing intention, just to nurture, to let go, to relax, to let be, to let come. And so as we stand in this circle, I invite you to just be present to the moment. Be present to the love and the kindness that is here for you. Be present to the deep rest that is available to you. And just take a nice deep breath out of your belly. Push out the belly as you take that breath. And then sigh out that deep frustration. And then take another nice deep breath in. And just sigh out that frustration of, when will this pandemic be over? Take another nice deep breath in. And just release all that built up tension in your shoulders, your neck, your body, your feet, and especially in the mind, where all that talking is going on, that thinking, that busyness. And just let that tension flow out from your body, down, 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 down into your feet and into the Mother Earth. Our mother is so loving, and she doesn't mind if we send this tension, this frustration, this whatever it is we're feeling into her, because she will recycle it into love again. And then take your last nice deep breath. And then when you're ready, you may open your eyes, and then we'll start. So, colleagues, I am so thrilled to be here with all of you this morning. I'm so excited to have seen the familiar names and faces. And I'm so excited to share this journey with you. And I was telling Anna Marie and Ingrid that I don't want to bore you with theory. I want to take you on a mindfulness retreat this morning. I've been facilitating spiritual retreats for the last 5 years. And from 2015 to 2019, I've been doing it in person. And then came COVID and I've done it online. So just sit back, relax, enjoy, listen, show up, and put me something in the chat if you want to ask me a question, or if you just want to make a comment. I will be giving you information on mindfulness. I will be giving you tips, and I will be giving you tools so that when you go back, you can go and practice this on your own. There is no way that we can overcome this virus time period when it is over. In my own experience, mindfulness is the thing that carried me through from the end of March up to this point. Just breathing every day, calming myself down, relaxing, communicating with nature, going out there, feeling the sun on my face has sustained me through this pandemic time. And so the invitation here this morning is for you to say, what can I do differently after this morning? Liasa has given me this amazing opportunity to come back to myself because I've lost myself somewhere these past months. So what can I do? What can I practice? How can I be different after this morning? And so the tips and tools will help you to do that. So the impact of the pandemic is severe. I've been speaking to groups this whole year from April to now. And I've been researching, looking at what countries are putting out there as their experience. And I can tell you the experience is unprecedented. It has economic impact. It has psychological impact. People are dying. People that we thought were not vulnerable are falling prey to the virus. Children are sick, and some children are also even dying. My own dad is 93 years old, and I worry about him. I know that he's vulnerable. He doesn't walk around anymore, but that doesn't make him less vulnerable than anybody else. you having to go into your libraries, you having to interact with your users, you are vulnerable. You can be given this virus anywhere, anytime. We have to go into malls. Yes, we have so much trust in the mask, um, and so much trust in washing our hands and sanitizing and everything. You know, this virus, this pandemic is no respecter of persons. No respecter of persons. No respecter of stature. No respecter of status. No respecter of whether you're wealthy or poor. No respecter of persons. And having said that, at the same time, this pandemic for me is a holy time. It's a sacred time. It's a time of reflection, of going inward. It's sending us indoors. So symbolically, what does that mean? It means it sent you inside. It sent me and you inward, inside. It says to us, put that mask over your mouth. Shut up for now. Be quiet. Listen. Where do you listen? You have to listen inside. There's so much going on, but we are so busy. When we get busy, we have no time to listen. We have no time to shut up. We have no time to go inward. It is only busyness, 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 busyness. Chasing the wind, chasing our tails. So the invitation is for us to go inside, to shut up, even if we have to force ourselves to shut up by putting a mask over our faces. The other beautiful sacredness that I've found in this pandemic is that when we wear a mask has a symbolic meaning too. A mask can hide what is authentic. I can hide myself with a mask, with a social mask. I can be very sly or very devious, and I can have this mask of niceness, of kindness, but I'm not really kind. I can hide behind a mask. So the mask, there's a lot of deep symbolism in this pandemic for us to work with, if we really, really make the time to reflect. The mask is a deeply symbolic symbol that speaks volumes to us. Look at the what is that of the opera, that beautiful theatrical play, The Phantom of the Opera. Of the opera, he had a mask and he was hiding his ugliness behind that mask. So the mask is a very, very deeply symbolic thing for us to think about. Why are we being masked? What are we masking? Why is God finding it important to show us this mask and to shut our mouths with this mask? Not even just your mouth, but your nose. The nose where the breath, when we go into meditation, we say, breathe through the nose, breathe through the nose, breathe through the mouth. And here the mouth and the nose is amplified. The breath is being hampered. The breath is being hindered. What is going on? What is the universe, God, higher power trying to tell us? Why is our attention being drawn to these symbols, to these important parts of our bodies? We have to elbow each other instead of hug. Why are we being stopped from hugging? A hug says so much. Now we have to elbow each other. The elbow is so sharp. Elbows can hurt if you by accident walk into somebody's elbow. There's so much for us to think about. And yet, what do? Instead of going quiet, going within, we focus on the suffering, the pain, the death. the lack of pleasure, the lack of being able to go out there and enjoy ourselves. And yes, it's an important part of our lives. But there is this huge message that is coming through COVID to us. And it is really time that we reflect as a nation, as a globe, as a global collective, a global people. We need to reflect. Social media has taken over our lives. I have stepped off Facebook because it was just too overwhelming for me. I stepped off my uh, um, Twitter, and I only do my Zooms for the coaching these days because it's so overwhelming. And when COVID-19 started, everybody was saying something, making fun of people, saying ugly things. I had to just take a step back. And I'm sure you experience the very same thing. So this pandemic, even though it is unprecedented in its impact, its negative impact, there's also very good things. So as an eternal optimist that Julia is, I looked for the good. I experienced the suffering, I experienced the bad. However, I said to myself, if I want to get through COVID in one piece, I have to find a way to deal with the suffering around me in my own home, in my own immediate family, my dad who's vulnerable in Cape Town, and I have two grandchildren who's very vulnerable, and I'm a senior citizen myself, and my husband is a senior citizen. So there we have it. It is a time of great suffering, uncertainty. And I think I'm speaking for many when I say that we are experiencing deep fatigue. We are saturated with stress. We have never felt stress at this unprecedented level. There's so much grief around. People are being buried. When they die, whether it's COVID or whether it's just natural death, people's funerals are being arranged in such an impersonal way. I have a brother who's a Catholic priest, and in 1 month, my brother had 27 funerals. And he said it was so deeply stressful because the family of those people could not enter the church. They had to have a picture of the person instead of the coffin. The coffin had to stay outside of the church. Or if the coffin came in, the people could not come in. So you can imagine the deep stress, the deep exhaustion and suffering that people are feeling on that level. And the helplessness and the hopelessness is so palpable. You can feel it in the air. People feel helpless. At the beginning of the lockdowns, the many people who went out in the streets to say, we don't have food. How the heck can you close shops? How can you close workspaces? We don't have food to eat. We don't have money to buy food. What is going on? So that helplessness, that hopelessness was everywhere. People lost jobs, people have lost salaries, people have lost family, people have lost even their homes because they couldn't pay their rent. So lots of loss there. So there is all these huge suffering that's collective and massive impact everywhere. There's a great unspoken need for just wanting to exhale and to relax. How do we do that? While COVID is still around, and whilst the president is talking about a resurgence, the second wave, we have barely survived the first wave. What is the second wave going to bring? How are we going to cope with the second wave? So what does all this mean? What all this means is that there is a bigger need for kindness, for loving kindness. There's a huge need for us to turn to each other, to turn towards ourselves, to turn towards God, to form this unshakable bond with a higher power. No matter what you call this higher power, you may call it God, you may call it universe, you may call it a deity, you might call it goddess, you might call it whatever. We need an unshakable bond with a higher power. That is the reality. That is the truth. So after we have this unshakable bond with this higher power, we need to start communicating on a regular basis with this higher power to find the strength, to find the joy, to find ourselves, to find the love, to find the freedom again, to move around, to be with one another, to find the gratitude, to find the new beginning after COVID. Secondly, we need to form an unshakable bond with ourselves. There is this need for people to reconnect with themselves. We have emotionally disconnected from ourselves as a result of this busyness. How many of us take a break during the day just to have a simple cup of tea? How many? I can tell you in the workplace when we didn't have COVID, that was difficult. I remember my days as a librarian. I would eat on the run. I called it eating on the fly. I was flying around from campus to campus, meeting to meeting, user to user. So we need to form and forge this unshakable bond with ourselves again, to say, who am I? What am I? Where am I going? What am I doing? What is the loving kindness I show myself on a daily basis? Mindfulness is not theory. Mindfulness is application. Mindfulness is taking the information and the knowledge that we get on a daily basis and applying it mindfully, intentionally to our lives. So we have this unspoken need everywhere for loving kindness. We have it. And the third thing we need to do after we've forged this unshakable bond with a higher power, the unshakable bond with ourselves, we need an unshakable bond with other people. COVID showed us once again that this isolation doesn't work. I cannot sit in my house and not mingle and mix with my friends. I cannot not have my retreats. I miss my sisterhood. I miss my colleagues. I miss my friends. I miss my family. I miss my neighbors. So we need that unshakable bond with other people. There is no way that we can live on an island. This is what COVID is showing us again, that we need others, we need people in our lives, and we need to reach out and show loving kindness to others, to ourselves, and form this bond with God. There is this beautiful saying in scripture also that Jesus is instructing us to love others as we love ourselves. Isn't that beautiful? Love others. However, start with you. Start with the woman and the man in the mirror. Love others the way you love yourself. So what does that mean? It's a very, it's a statement that can be misunderstood very easily. It means we have to start with us. We have to love ourselves. And if I love myself, I will make time for me. If I love myself, I will go and sleep at a decent hour. If I love myself, I will switch off my cell phone sometimes and just be quiet. If I love myself, I will eat healthy food. If I love myself, I will exercise regularly. If I love myself, I will make sure that my personal hygiene is tops. I will actually pamper myself a lot more to give meaning to that word, loving myself. So it is deeply painful and damaging what we're going through. And then, Julia, what do we do about this? I said we're going to have tips and we're going to have tools. The tips and the tools that I'm going to give you will expand you, will bring spaciousness. Why do we need that? When we suffer, when we have a problem, when we have stress, what do? We pull ourselves into a little ball. We contract. We contract into the fetus position. We pull everything in. And when we pull everything in, our bodies go into spasm actually, because our bodies cannot breathe properly. Our lungs are compressed, it cannot breathe. So the tips and the tools of mindfulness helps us to expand our bodies out, to reach out our arms and to embrace life and to embrace the universe and to say, here I am. I'm opening up my body, my heart, my mind, my soul, my personal space. I'm spacious. I'm taking up my rightful space in the universe. So contraction is not good. Spaciousness is excellent. Sometimes when I do an assessment with my clients, I use art to show people how they contract. I take a big piece of calico, Koki pens, and I let them lie on the calico in a suffering position. And they never disappoint me. They always go into fetus position. Then I draw the outline of that fetus position for them to see how they've contracted themselves into their problem. And then I ask them, what is your dream? Where do you want me to take you? Where do we go? What is it? What's your intention for this coaching? And then as they tell me, oh, they open up, their eyes shine, their arms go out, and they lie in a totally different position, and I turn the calico around and then I outline that position for them. Their legs are straight, their arms are above their head, their bodies are not contracted. And when they look at these two outlines, they are so shocked because we don't know what we do to ourselves when we go into that kind of contraction. We hurt ourselves. We bring actually more suffering than bringing any other kind of relief. So suffering can sometimes take us out of mindfulness and just catapult us into mindlessness. And then when we are mindless, we have this chatter in our heads, this incessant talking. My boss is not paying attention. I don't have data at home. How does she expect me to do my job? And my children are here, I can't homeschool. And my husband doesn't want me to use his office, so I must sit in the kitchen or I must sit in my bedroom. My bed is not made up. That is what suffering does. Suffering brings this incessant inner self-talk that can drive us so crazy. And when we don't notice this mindlessness that's going on, we can become chronically ill. The joy can drain from our lives. We can become so depressed that some of us need a medication to sleep even. And as librarians, you work with so much information. I remember every day, whole day, deep into the night, information. You work with it, you send it around, you read it, you read books, you leave your book, you pick up your book, you send the emails with the information attachments. Information. You are surrounded with information and you are immersed in the information all the time. So I have come to realize in my own life that being with and immersed in information means absolutely nothing if we are mindless. Means nothing. You can have the best information at your fingertips. However, when you are not mindful about your life, about your breath, about how you show up in the world, to your users, to your boss, to your organization, to your husband, to your child, that information means absolutely nothing. I've come to realize that all the studying I have done, if I'm not mindful, all of that means absolutely nothing. So what do we need to do? We have to apply. We have to apply our information that we learn. We have to apply it first and foremost to our own lives. So I want you to take a moment and sit back again for me. And just reflect on what I've said now up to this point. Is there incessant chatter happening in your mind? Are you saying, Julia, can you just get on with it, please? Because you know what? I've got a meeting to go to. Get to the tools, get to the tools. That is the mindlessness I'm talking about. That is the mindlessness that takes us out of mindfulness. Are you fidgeting in your chair? Are you writing incessantly? You don't want to miss anything? That is the mindlessness I'm talking about. The mind is in control. Mindfulness, even though it says mindfulness, it actually means emptying yourself of all that chatter, the busyness happening, and just being present to the moment, being present to the here and now, just being present to your heart beating for you, your breath cycling through your nose all the time, your body, the blood pumping in your body for you, unselfishly, unconditionally, never saying, yeah, Ingrid, why must I pump a whole day for you? Do you know how difficult this pumping is? Your blood never says that. Your heart never says that. Your breath never says, I'm now tired of breathing in and out through your nose. You know what? Your nose is blocked. I'm struggling. Your breath never says that. There's a mindfulness to your body. There's a mindfulness to your heartbeat. There's a mindfulness to your breath. And it is time that we get still, that we go quiet, to be grateful, to be kind to this body, to this brain, to this heart, to this blood, to the skin, to the feet, that we just give it some loving kindness. So notice what you are noticing in your quietness right there in your chair. Become aware of what you're noticing about you. Become aware of your chair, your bum sitting in that chair, your breath, your room, the sounds inside, outside. Notice what you are noticing. Notice the gift that is in this moment for you. There's nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. There is nothing missing from this moment. This moment is so full of love. Yes, COVID is out there. The virus is not gone. But right here in this moment where you are, there is God. There is the universe. There is this group of people holding the space for each other. This moment is so full, so filled with goodness, with loving kindness. And I want you to scoop up the goodness in this moment for you. This is your moment. Scoop it up. Feel the gratitude rising in you for the fullness of this moment. There's nothing missing from this moment. There's only love here. There's only loving kindness here. Liasa has made this moment available for you to just think nothing, to just be present, to be present to the moment. Not judging anything, saying, yeah, this is beautiful. Oh, I love this. I love this. Oh, Julia is saying beautiful things. No judgment. No judgment. There's just beauty. There's just love. There's just quietude. There's just presence. There's just you and God, you and your breath, you and joy, you and gratefulness, a gratitude for this moment of rest and deep relaxation. And just feel into the space, what your fellow colleague is feeling. You're feeling it. We're building this field of so much goodness as we sit in quietness, enjoying the moment. Just this moment. I'm not asking you for many moments. I'm just asking you to be present, to notice what you are noticing right now, and to catch your breath, to say, wow, this is amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So when you are mindful, you can influence many things. When you are mindless, we cannot make an impact. When we are mindless, busy, running around, we think we make an impact, but we're not making an impact. I've always been under this misconception that I was this librarian. Oh my word, I'm making an impact. I was wrong. And in hindsight, I was not wrong, in that sense of wrong. I was under misconception because I was mindless. I was tired most of the time. I was running like a chicken without a head. I was like a dog wanting to catch its tail because I was jumping from meeting to meeting, this to that. Oh my word, coming late on a Friday, 7 o'clock. I'm still driving from Doornfontein home to the West Rand, sitting in traffic, the taxis around me. I was under a misconception that I was making a difference. I was influencing people. I was so excellent. I was not doing that. I was making myself tired because I was mindless. I was not present to the moment. If I had been present to the moment, I would have had so much more influence. Look at the Dalai Lama. We don't even know this man personally, yet he is impacting us when he talks. We quote him because he's mindful. He's mindful. He knows exactly where he is at any given moment in his day. The same with Desmond Tutu. The same with Madiba. Madiba was our best example for visionary leadership in our country because he was mindful. And why was he mindful? Because he was locked away for 27 years. How can you not become mindful? Being isolated like that, shut up, sent inside, into a small little room. He became mindful there. He's our best example of mindfulness. And I have a huge picture of Madiba here in my office where I sit and coach to remind me not of his great leadership in South Africa, but of his decision and his choice to become mindful in his life, to say enough is enough, enough struggle. I want to love, I want to live, I want to breathe my beautiful South African air. I want to get to know my people. I want to walk around, meet the children. I want to shake hands with people. I want to build a foundation where I can give my service to the world, even after I'm gone. We're still celebrating Madiba Day, isn't it? That is what mindfulness is in application. It's not a theory. We can read about it in books. However, we need to apply it. So COVID-19, what is your message? COVID-19, what is your gift? COVID-19, what is underneath your suffering? COVID-19, what are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to teach me? What are you trying to bring to my attention? What are you trying to say to me? Notice what you're noticing. Let us, as librarians today, make the decision and the choice to step out of our philosophical bubble of information. And let us step into ourselves. Let this day be the day, the turning point where you say, let me become who I'm really supposed to be, my authentic self. Let me be that for my users. So the first power practice I want to give you is this. In your space where you're sitting, become aware of your breath once again. We're doing a lot of breath work today. And as you become aware of your breath, take your focus now to the edges of your body, because we have become contracted. So I'm going to expand you now. Take your attention to the edges of your body. Just become aware of where you end. Where Julia ends is the end of my body, right? Then become aware of the ends, the edges of the room you're sitting in. Already you have expanded to the edges of your room. Take your focus to the edges of your room. And now, if you're sitting at home or in your library, take yourself to the edges of your building you're sitting in. Already you're bigger now. You're taking up more space. Then take your focus and your awareness to the edges of the neighborhood you are in. Become aware of the boundaries of your neighborhood, the edges of your neighborhood, where you are. And then take your focus and awareness to the edges of your province. Can you feel how big you are now? And then take your awareness and your focus to the edges of South Africa. And then take your awareness and your focus to the edges of the continent. Feel how spacious you are. Feel how huge you are now. You are occupying a big space just by broadening your awareness to away from you and out there into space. Now take your awareness beyond the continent to the whole of the planet. And in this expanded space, release and let go your suffering. Just make an intention of embracing life, embracing love, embracing joy, embracing this moment with your colleagues in this expanded space you're sitting in. Release, let go, delete stress from your life right now. Release, delete, let go across all time, space, dimensions, all the suffering you're feeling, all the despondency, all the disappointment, all the grief, all the lack of this, the lack of that, the scarcity. And then with your arms, scoop up and embrace abundance and put it into your heart. Embrace love and put it into your heart. Embrace loving kindness and put it into your heart. And then put a smile on your face. Put a smile on your face. This is such an awesome moment. You are giving so much time to yourself. Put a smile on your face and smile. And let this smile immerse into your beingness. Let your soul smile. Let your soul smile. Just put that smile on your face and just take that smile so deep into yourself and smile. When you're smiling or laughing, you can't cry at the same time unless you are in such a belly laughter that your tears come out. But when you're smiling, you can't feel despondent. When you are smiling, you cannot feel disappointment. When you are smiling, you cannot help but feel the love, feel the joy, feel the energy of abundance. Because that smile feels like the sun shining on your face, isn't it? The sun is shining on your soul right now. How can I not smile and be grateful for this moment? So let your soul smile. Let your soul smile. It's so beautiful. It's so incredibly extraordinary when our soul smiles. And remember, we are in this circle of love. And when my soul smiles, and it smiles with another soul, just imagine the impact we're having right now. We're healing South Africa right now by allowing our smiles to reach other people and to reach other souls. So amazing. So who's experiencing all this now, the suffering, when you look back at COVID? Bring yourself back into your chair. Let's continue. Who's experiencing the suffering? It's the mind. The mind is saying they're suffering, they're suffering, they're suffering. Oh, people are dying. But there's somebody beyond the mind that is observing the suffering, that is witnessing this. So when you take a step back from your thoughts, you will find that there is this deep, magnificent spiritual being that is always centered, that is watching all this incessant chatter going on. The mind is not you. You are not your mind. You are much bigger than your mind. The mind is doing the chattering. You are much bigger than your mind. So how is it that we allow our minds to control us? When our minds say, I'm tired, we go lie down. And sometimes we're not really tired. When our minds say, I've had enough of this library, I'm going now to buy a cool drink, whether it's lunchtime or not. The mind controls us. The mind says, you don't have enough money. You know, you must ask, lend, borrow, whatever. That's not you doing that. That's your mind that tells you you don't have enough, you are not enough, you are not worthy, you are not valued. The boss is rude, the boss is nasty. Oh, the work is too much. I have my studies, I have my work, I have my children, I have my... It's the mind chatter that is telling you that. You are not your mind. However, we allow our minds to control us. So let's go into our customer services. What happens when we are mindless? When we are mindless, we serve our customers from this mindless place. Who is our customer? You are your first customer. I am my first customer. If I cannot serve myself in a mindful way, how can I serve others? Go back to what Jesus said. Love others as you love yourself. I translate that in customer services. I say, serve others as you serve yourself. How do you serve yourself? On a daily basis. When you wake up in the morning, Do you pray? Do you have quiet time? Do you take a moment to say, thank you, I'm still breathing, I'm still here. Oh, wow, I'm still alive. Oh, my husband is still alive. Thank you, God. Oh, there I hear my child coming down the passage. Thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you. We're all here. We're still alive. Or do we jump out of bed, grab our cell phones, check who's on WhatsApp, who's on Facebook? That's not serving the most important customer that you'll ever have, you. That's not serving you well. That's not serving you mindfully. I hope that this mini retreat will make you think very deeply about the way you serve the most important customer you will ever have. And that is the first customer, yourself, you. Julia. How do I serve Julia in a mindful way? In order for Julia to serve her clients, her coaching clients in a mindful way, to give her full self, her whole self, holding nothing back. Very important. It's a consciousness. It's a consciousness. It's an awareness. It's a way of life. It's a way of being. It's not something you can put a mask over. It's either there or it's not there. We do not have to be a Buddhist monk to be aware and conscious. We don't have to be the Dalai Lama to pay attention to the moment. All we need to do is choose to be present, to be aware, to be conscious. So take all this information that you are giving out on a daily basis and ask yourself, was I present when I looked for this information? Did I really give my customer the full benefit of me, the full benefit of my presence? Did I show up? Was this what the person needed? And you will know the answer if you know what you didn't do or did do that morning for yourself. Second power practice. Put your hands on your heart. Put your hands on your heart and get so quiet that you can feel your heart beating under your hands, under your palms. Feel your heart beating. And then take your hands away from your heart and rub your hands together very, very vigorously. And then take your hands away a little bit from each other and feel the energy between your hands. That's your energy. I feel my energy. That is what is impacting other people, that energy that you have, that you're feeling right there. In the palms of your hands, in the middle of your hand is an energy center, a vortex of energy. So when you rub your hands together like that, you activate the vortexes in your hands and you bring that energy. And when you pull your hands away from each other like that, you can manipulate that energy. That is how powerful you are. You can manipulate your energy. And this is what other people feel when they encounter us. They feel your energy. They don't feel you as a whatever librarian, academic librarian with a master's degree, a PhD, or blah, 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 your status, your ranking. They don't feel that. They feel this, that you're feeling between your hands. They feel your energy. So when you put your hands back on your heart, feel your heart, your hands giving that energy to your heart. You know, the heart is the most intelligent part of our body. It's even more important than the brain. The brain has a lot of information and a lot of good functionings for us as a human being. However, the heart is the center of where all the mindfulness lives. If you tap into your heart on a daily basis, every day, if you just if you just become grateful for your heart beating, for you, you fall into mindfulness. Just put your hands on your heart and say, thank you, I love you, I love you, I love you. You're saying to your heart, I love you, and you're saying that to yourself. Gratitude is one of the most amazing ways in which you can become mindful in a second. Just become grateful. Thank you for the sky. Thank you for my heartbeat. Thank you for my food on my table, the clothes on my back, the seat, chair in which I'm sitting. Thank you for my computer. If I didn't have my computer, I wouldn't be able to Zoom. Thank you for Anna Marie's kindness today to be here to facilitate this with Ingrid. Thank you for Ingrid initiating this beautiful opportunity. I'm so grateful. Oh, my heart is so open today. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Lord. Thank you, universe. Thank you, God, Goddess. Thank you, higher power. The gratitude, it opens your heart. There's coherency in our hearts. For all the incoherency that COVID is bringing around us, you can just drop into your heart and feel the coherency there. Feel the love there. Feel the joy there. Feel the pumping of life in your heart space. Such a simple practice. Such a simple practice. COVID is out there. Yes, it's threatening us. It's threatening to kill people, to make people sick, to let people lose jobs and everything. But your heart has never threatened you. Your heart has only beaten for you, pumped for you, worked hard for you. And it is the most mindful organ in your body. So when you drop into your heart space, love is waiting for you there. Just be with your heart. It's such a simple power practice, and yet so powerful. The space around and the energy around your heart will expand and will send happy hormones through your body when you put your focus and your attention and your noticing and your energy and awareness on your heart space. It will fill you up with serotonin and happy hormones, and you just want to smile and be grateful. So shaking yourself loose again. Let's go to power practice 3. Power practice 3 is all about the story. When I was born, and you don't know this about me, you just know the beautiful things Ingrid said, but you don't know this about me. When I was born, I was actually born with a paralysis. I didn't have an illness or anything that was physically visible, but I was born with a paralysis. For the first 5 years of Julia's life, I couldn't walk. The doctors had no medical reasons why I couldn't walk. I just couldn't walk. I could not crawl. I couldn't walk. I just had to lay in my cot, or what was my cot, according to my parents. I was my mother's 7th child. My mother had 10 children altogether, and I was her 7th child. Imagine a mom with 7 children, with 6 children already, and here comes the 7th child, and this child can't even help herself. So I was lying there in my cot. I did not go anywhere. When they put me on the floor, I would just like shove myself from here to there, and then stay there, and then shove myself from here to there, and then stay there again. And I was so weak that, according to my sisters, I would eat red stones for iron, because I didn't have iron. I had an iron deficiency as well. And so for the first 5 years, where other children start crawling and getting hand-eye coordination and touching things, opening cupboards, putting things in their mouth, whatever, Julia just didn't do that. She was too weak to do that. And my mom was extremely worried. My dad was extremely worried. And my mother was a working mom. And my father was also a working dad. So I was left with a caregiver. And then when she came home every night, after giving everybody food and everything, she would diligently take my feet and rub my feet and wash me and rub me and massage me and pray over my feet for 5 full years. And then, just after my 5th birthday, I stood up and I walked. I walked. I'm still walking. My father, when he saw me that night, when he came back from work, he found me at the gate waiting for him. This little 5-year-old, weak, paralyzed little girl standing at the gate. And my father just lost it. He burst out with tears. He said, I could not believe my eyes seeing you standing there waiting for me. I was just flabbergasted when I heard this story from my parents, because I could not even imagine myself being paralyzed 1 minute, the next minute lifting myself up and walking. And it was the truth, because everybody tells me, my sisters, my brothers, they used to say to me, you are so weak. Look at you now. You're so weak. My father is 93 years old and he always says to me, my child, I love you so much. You were my weakest child. I thought you're never going to make it. And so my feet has become a metaphor for me to stand for me with God's help and stand for others. I took a stand that I will stand for me, I will stand for others, because I can. God help me to get up there to stand. What am I trying to say to you? I'm not trying to make you crazy with a story, to make you cry or anything. What am I trying to say to you? I'm trying to say to you that Julia has a story. That is not me, that's my story. You have a story. When you go down into your life, you have many stories. Many stories. You have maybe a story of divorce, a story of illness, a story of diabetes, a story of having lost your parents at an early age, a story of abuse, whatever your story might be. I would love to tell you today, it is just a story. It is not you. My soul, my human spirit is so big that it could overcome that story of paralysis. It's a story. People were people were sad, people were upset. Why doesn't she walk? People were sorry for me. But my human spirit, my soul, was bigger than my story. And I'm trying to say this to you, ladies and gentlemen, that our souls, our spirit is bigger than this COVID story. It's bigger. It's much bigger. You are not your COVID story. You are not the COVID illness. You are not the coma you were in. You are not the virus that touched you. You are not the mask. You are not that divorce story. You're much bigger than that story. I could rise out of my story of paralysis. And today, I am making a difference to me, to others, to my environment. Here I'm making a difference to us as a collective in the circle. You are bigger than the story. You are much more than the story. when you forge that unshakable bond with a higher power, like my mom did as my proxy, miracles can happen. I had my first miracle at the age of 5. Imagine what you can have. God does not have an age restriction for a miracle. No. COVID is our miracle if we want to look at it from a higher perspective. COVID has brought families closer together, shut us into our home, forced wife and husband to speak to each other, forced families to eat together, forced families to wash their hands and become aware of personal hygiene and the importance of hygiene, forced people to be civil to one another, to be kind to one another, to give food to the poor. There's a higher perspective here. It's not the end of humanity. It's the beginning of a new humanity. It's the beginning of a new era, a new life, a new South Africa, a new globe. We have become mindless in the way we treat each other. We have become unforgiving. We have become so stressed out. That is the COVID story. Look deeper, colleagues. Look deeper. You are not the story. You are much more than the story. Your soul has not been touched by COVID. Your spirit can never be changed by COVID-19. The World Health Organization and all those countries with the money cannot do for you what your human spirit can do for you. You are the one that has to choose, to decide, to become mindful, to become present, to become filled with the moment, to notice, to experience mindfulness, to experience God, to stop making God just a Sunday outing to church or a reading from the Bible. It's an experience, it's an application. It's a noticing, it's an awareness, it's a letting go of judgment, letting go of stories. To take the focus back to you, take it away from the world. Get off social media for a while. To come back home to yourself. That is the third power practice I want to tell you, that you are not your story. Today, reflect on your stories, your divorce stories, your whatever stories that you say, oh, you know, that's a story. It could easily have been in a book or in a film. It's just a story. In 1999, on my 40th birthday, I had cancer. I had cancer. It's just a story. I overcame the cancer. 21 years later, I'm still here. That's my second miracle, or my third miracle. It could even have been my fourth miracle. It's just a story. Cancer cannot be the defining moment for you. COVID can never be the defining moment for us. If a person had succumbed through death, maybe it was their time. Maybe they made a pact with God that the illness will take me back to you, God. Maybe it was their time. But the drama around the funerals is just a story. It is just a story. Do not get entangled in the story. Do not get entangled in the story. The story will take you into mindlessness. Look for the center, which is you, which is your human spirit, which is the God part in you that is breathing you, that's looking at you from the mirror. Those eyes, who's looking through your eyes? Look for that center and you cannot go wrong. COVID will not be able to define how you live your life, how you live your day, how you navigate yourself after this moment, after this day, after this gift that Lihasa has given you, to just be here, now, present, noticing, no judgment in this moment, just being. So to be mindful how you impact the world, you have a consciousness, you have an awareness. God has given us those gifts. It's the currency for the 21st century. We are living in an information age. And we say, oh, information is the new currency. Information, oh, technology is the new currency. No, colleagues. Awareness is the new currency. Consciousness is the new currency. Mindfulness is the new currency of the information of this new era. A new humanity is being birthed right in front of our eyes. Your children's children will remember this time forever because it is breathing, creating a new humanity, a new beginning. Consciousness is the currency. Consciousness, awareness, self-awareness, personal growth, mindfulness is the currency. I promise you. Every client I have is thirsting to be present in her life, in his life. They've lost themselves through their stories that they've taken on as if it's a coat that they're wearing, a fur coat. How will you use this currency? What will you do with this currency? You are a powerhouse of energy. And this bank where your currency is in is limitless. That bank can never go bankrupt because it comes from a higher power. That bank can never go bankrupt. You can never outdraw that account, that currency account of mindfulness, because it's your channel from God, Goddess, universe, whatever you want to call that higher power. That currency comes straight from that higher power. So you can never go overdrawn, can never go in overdraft or take a loan out. It's always available to you. It's your choice. It's your decision. It's your presence that will determine how you use your currency. My message to you today is love yourself and then love others the way you love yourself. It's a beautiful thing when you start loving yourself. It's an amazing feeling when you love yourself so much that you can give yourself a bit of rest. Give yourself a break. Stop overthinking. In the middle of that busyness, leave everything and go outside and just say, wow, look at this sky, so blue, the clouds, the wind on my face. Amazing. Fill up your cup. You cannot give me anything to drink when your cup is empty. What you give your users must come from a full cup. I use the cup, the coffee cup, a lot in my coaching. When I ask my clients, where is your favorite cup? And they bring their cup. And I say, what's in your cup? And normally there's nothing in the cup because that is what they feel at that point in time. They feel depleted. The cup is empty. Then I asked them, when you leave me now, what are you going to put in that cup? They say, coffee, Julia. Oh, that's my favorite. And then I say, but what about your human cup? What are you going to put into your human cup? Because your child is waiting for you. Your husband is waiting for you. Your boss is waiting for you. There's a meeting waiting for you. Are you going to go there with an empty cup? Fill up your human cup. Take a deep breath. Go into a quiet space for a second. Fill up your cup and then go to your meeting. Fill up your cup and then speak to your child. Fill up your cup and then go have sex with your husband. Do you know how much juicier that intimacy will be when you go there with a full cup to him, or he comes with a full cup to you? Then you know you've influenced, you know you've encountered another human being, you know you've made an impact because you did that from a full cup. You cannot give what you haven't got. I can never ever do what I'm doing if I didn't have my mindfulness practices. And I have a whole toolkit full of them. And I would love to talk more about it to all of you. And I would love to teach this because that's just my nature. So I'm inviting you, colleagues. I've said a lot and I've said deep stuff and I've talked my mouth dry. But I hope that somewhere, some of this have fallen onto fertile soil within you, and that seed will sprout and germinate and become a fully fledged tree that will also give shade and shelter and fruits and whatever else to a lot of other people. So yes, you have heard of mindfulness, you have practiced mindfulness now. I am inviting you not to just make this a concept in your life. Do not intellectualize it, do not theorize it. Yes, you can read up on it. However, the invitation for you is to apply it. Practice it, experiment with it. There's no wrong way, there's no right way. There's just ease. Learn it, teach it, play with it, have fun with it. I love fun and I love play and I love juiciness and I love sexiness. So I make my mindful practices sexy and juicy and playful and fun. And I enjoy the mindfulness because it's mine. I can do with it whatever I want to. Nobody's going to judge me for it. And I'm not going to judge me for it. So let go of the suffering thoughts. I know COVID is still here. I know COVID is still affecting us. I know COVID is still robbing us of peace of mind. You have a choice. What perspective you will take. You have a choice how you will respond. Because you can respond instead of react. You have a choice, you have a decision. And I know the current realities that's facing us. I know the second wave that's predicted. I know that you have been maybe ill, you have lost a loved one. Maybe you have lost a colleague. Maybe you can't go work. You have whatever you're doing. I'm just saying, I'm just inviting you to try on another perspective, to look at it from another perspective, from a higher perspective, from your God part, and see the gift that COVID has presented you with. Yes, it did give us some suffering. However, the gift is wrapped up in that suffering. It always is. That's my experience. In my paralysis, there was my miracle. The gift was with me all the time in my suffering, in my mother's suffering, my father's suffering, my siblings, looking at me. The gift was wrapped up in that suffering. Our miracle for the country is wrapped up in the perspective that we as a nation can take. As we rise out of the suffering and into abundance, let's help one another. Call up your colleague, call up your friend. You don't have to visit them, just call them. Say, how are you doing? I want to motivate you today. Smile. I would love to say to you, I love you, I love you. I just love you. Don't ask me why I'm saying this. I'm just saying I love you. I embrace you. Don't be sad. One day we're going to see each other again. We're going to have coffee together, cake together, laugh together, eat together in the staff room. It's important that we pick each other up, that we rise together. Mindfulness is a muscle. You have to exercise it. You have to exercise, practice until your muscle is strong. I had to practice for 21 years before I can do what I do now. So I'm inviting you to practice this muscle of mindfulness. Drop me an email. Tell me how you're doing. Ask me, Julia, what can I do here and there? Is there any suggestions you have? You will love how you grow. You will love how you can become. You can become. You will love your growth. You will love seeing the growth in other people. You will love to see how your users will blossom and just bloom in front of you under your influence. Liasa will get a new breath if the librarians come forth saying, let's do this, let's take this higher perspective, let's go into our organizations, let's breathe life back into our librarianship. Let's become mindful of our librarianship. Let's go back, let's go build Liasa. Let's go. Let's go. We have so much building work to do. We're so excited now. COVID, you're not going to get us down. We have new life. And not because Julia said so. Not because Ingrid took the initiative. Not because Anna Marie has given this opportunity for us to Zoom. No, because you, as the librarian, as that beautiful being, magnificence, awesomeness, have made the choice and the decision to become mindful to yourself, to become mindful to your profession, to become mindful to your impact on the world, your service to the globe, to the world. And you've made that choice and decision to stand and be counted. Let your life count. Let this suffering that you're going through count. Let it stand for something. Let it stand for something. So just in closing, I invite you to sit back again and just to become aware of all this information that I've imparted to you. And just take a nice deep breath. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. You breathe in, then you hold for 4 counts, then you sigh it out for 4 counts, and then you hold for 4 counts. Okay? So breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Now pick a color, any color, and breathe that color in. All right? Breathing in your color, 2, 3, 4. Hold the breath, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Breathing in the color again. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Please open your eyes. Orientate yourself to your room and your chair. Shake yourself if you have to. Make some movement. Say yes. Chat to me on the chat. Ask your question. Open your eyes. Laugh, smile. Whatever it is that you feel like doing now. And become aware of the relaxed mode you're in, the energy, the surge of energy you're feeling. This is what mindfulness is all about. Beautiful, joyful, relaxed energy, calming. The breath calms us down. When we stress, we go into a situation where we are so, it's called, what is it called again? Fight or flight mode. You're either running away or you want to stand and fight and say, yeah, bring it on, I can take this. You're not going to get me down. So that's what stress does. You either fight or you flee away. You hide. You get fearful, frightened, scared. Stay indoors. I'm not going out. I don't want COVID. The breath calms all of that. The breath says, no, let's breathe. Let's calm down. So fight and flight mode makes your breath very fast and, oh, I must run. When you start to breathe calmly, the breath makes you go back to your equilibrium, your balance. You can get calm, you get clarity in your mind. You can think, what do I need to do now? You can respond. Fight and fight mode, you react. When you are in equilibrium, in balance, in peacefulness, you respond. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am so thrilled, I'm so honored and so privileged that I could help you to just shift out of fight and flight mode for a wee bit. I'm not taking credit for you staying like this because there's a big world out there waiting for you to do your job, to do your thing, to run to meetings, whatever. I'm not taking credit. I'm not taking any credit for what happened today. I want to give this credit to you for being here, for being present, for deep listening, and for not having a judgment on yourself. This is your credit. I give it back to you. I'm privileged to be here. I'm grateful to Ingrid for the opportunity. I'm thankful to Anna Marie for allowing us as an organization to be here. It's a joy for me to be of service to Leasa, even though I'm not a librarian anymore. I will always be a librarian in spirit. I feel privileged and honored, and I thank you. I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, and I wish you the best. I wish you and your family love. I wish you loving kindness. I wish you peace of mind. I wish you abundance and prosperity. And most of all, I wish you loving kindness towards yourself. Have self-love. Have self-love. It will take you far. So thank you, Ingrid. Thank you, colleagues. Thank you for your space, your time, your energy, your chats that I will read now. If there are any questions, please raise your hand on the chat or tell Ingrid, or maybe Ingrid will allow you to unmute yourself. I would love to know what your experience was. It doesn't have to be everybody, but if Ingrid can just allow me to hear if there's been a shift here and there, small, big, any shift, and what did this mean for you? Thank you, Ingrid. Thank you, Anna Marie.
Thank you, Julia. I see that there are. I'm stunned. I'm speechless. I need to digest some of what was shared. There are some comments in the chat. I know that quite a number of people have kind of left already because of the relentless meetings that go on. So thank you for those that have stayed. We will be making the recording available, but I think we'll just leave it recording to see if anyone would like to unmute and to share or to make a comment. Give it a minute or so, and then
Or they can just, yeah, or they can just write something in the chat. They don't have to say, they don't have to say anything. What happened? Did you go somewhere?
well,
Sometimes we
I
just
certainly
need.
had I certainly had the blue. I was breathing in my favorite shade of blue.
Oh, wonderful. What color blue was it, Ingrid?
It was an indigo. I
Okay, that
indigo.
indigo blue is your third eye. And what that means, Ingrid, is that you have higher perspective. It's almost like there's a need for you to open your higher perspective. And that's maybe the gift you have for the world. Because you're so busy, Ingrid, and because you're so busy with your studies too. You don't have time to, to connect with that. So you there's a lot you're missing about your life that could be of some value to you and others. So yes, work with that
Okay.
that theme.
In the comments, someone's asking about bright yellow.
Bright yellow, Carol, is your stomach. That's your impact in the world. um how you digest, how you digest what people are bringing to you. Yellow is, you remember, yellow is also the sunlight. When we depict the sun, we make it bright yellow rays and whatever. So it's that, the what are you bringing into the world? How do you digest what people are bringing to you? How do you impact, and how do they impact you? So that's your power to outside. Lime green is heart space. Green is always heart space. What's going on in the heart space? Always the heart space. Green is growth. Are you growing? Are you stifling your growth? Are you making others grow around you? What's going on in that heart space? So color has an amazing symbolic meaning in mindfulness too, because everything in nature has color. Our seasons have color. We dress in color. Our eyes have color. Our pigmentation is a color. Our skin is a color. So color has a very big symbolic meaning. And when you work with color, when you do artwork, work with color, you'll be amazed what that can do for your spirit. It's amazing. Somebody says it's the first time I'm actually breathing. Oh, wow. I hope that you will continue to practice this breathing. You have no idea how your breath can give you new life. To just tap into your breath, lying on your bed, just put your finger in front of your nose and connect with the breath. The breath is your power. When the breath is gone, you are gone. When our breath leaves us, we are no more. That is God right there in the breath. So connect with the breath. And when you think of the smash and grab, just breathe, put your finger there, and then you'll see how quiet your mind will go. And then when you go on, your mind wants to go everywhere again, just bring it back to the breath, and you will feel that quietude in your head. Orange is the color of your second energy center, which is for women, the seat of our power. That's where we carry our babies, and that is where life force is for, especially the women. That's our, I call it the cradle of humankind. So if you saw orange, then it means that you have to work with that part of your body, because it's either blocked, it's also the seat of your creativity. So if you can't be creative in your ideas or your whatever, your art or whatever you're doing, you want to be a writer, but you have writer's block or whatever, work with that part, breathe into that section, because that's this your cradle of humankind. That's the seat of your creativity. That's the seat of our power as women. That's where we carry our life. You know, when you carry a baby, that's where God makes the miracles happen. Put the hair, the nails, the eyes. That's where the miracle for women happen. So if you work with orange, you can. I sometimes even tie an orange piece of something scarf around me when I meditate, when I feel that I have a blockage in that area. So Benita, work with your orange. Wear an orange blouse or orange scarf or something orangey. Make orange in your bedroom, whatever, but bring orange in. And the beauty of color is this. At any given time, when you get drawn to a color, know that that color is speaking to you. Then bring that color into your space. It will energize you. Thank you, ladies. Thank you,
Oh,
everyone. The
Julia,
comments are
yeah,
amazing.
yeah, Julia, thank you very much for this session. I think we are all stepping away from here, thinking a little different, energized. I'm ready to take those tools and those suggestions that you have given us, and to work that into our lives. Yeah, I'm I'm quite speechless. um, um,
Just
and
stop with smiling. That's all
yeah,
I can say.
and we will be making this recording available to people who to generally, and there is in fact going to then be Julia's handout as a good reminder to take us through those exercises to tap, so we can tap in. Yeah, Julia, I can't thank you enough. You may be a former librarian, but yeah, librarianship is in our blood.
Yes,
Is part.
definitely.
I must say that I have memories of the belly dancing librarian.
She's using her feet. Happy feet.
Yeah, Julia, I know was a belly dancing librarian. We are doing, and so Julia has always been different too. You're not the stereotype or anything like that. And Julia, we would love to have you back again for another session
That would be
like
my
this,
joy.
a time out for those that want to be taken through some meditations
That would be
or
my
the
joy.
tools.
Absolutely. Absolutely loves serving Liasa. Absolutely love being with colleagues. Absolutely. I have so many colleagues who have become my friends now. They bring their children to me, so I'm grateful. I thank you. I never thought my second profession would be so enjoyable. And I can just say thank you to a higher power, because I don't know, it's lovely. So Ingrid, you took the initiative and I really want to thank you. I want to thank Richard, for reaching out and saying, Ingrid is looking for you, Ingrid is looking for you. And Richard, thank you so, so much. And to everyone out there, just thank you. Thank you for your love and thank you for the blessings and just, thank you for making such an amazing difference to users everywhere in libraries, academic, public, special libraries. Yeah, that will always be my favorite place. When I look at my own books, I'm always reminded, of my 31-year stint. So it's been a while. Thank you, Ingrid. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, everyone go. Yeah.
Extend my thanks again to Anna Marie and Liasa, the Liasa head office, for the opportunity. And yeah, go well, everyone.
Okay, thank you very, very much. Thank you, Julia. Thank you very much. And thank you, everyone, for attending. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
I see you. And Mersha, I see you there.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Okay.
Bye, everyone.
All colleagues.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, Segavetsi.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Fine. Thank you very much, Julia, Ingrid, and everyone. It was a great session.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Masha. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.